born on the south side of Chicago in poverty, like most predominantly minority citizens and youth. Um, I am the son of a nurse and also a former naval engineer. Um, Life was hard growing up, but things happen.
And now you're running for lieutenant governor of Wisconsin. What got you interested in running for office?
The people, the citizens. I'm tired of these politicians, these progressive and Republican elite taking advantage of the votes from the citizens. We need politicians to actually care. That's going to do something. That's going to say something and represent the people. Major issues. Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, senior citizens.
And on that note, what are the issues that you're most concerned about?
The homeless and the disabled, the veterans and the senior citizens and the poor. And also our middle class that are teachers that have been stripped from their union rights that was taken away by Scott Walker. Governor Scott Walker.
What would you like to see the state government do differently?
I would like to see more bipartisanship, and I would like to see the government fight for a just cause for the people. These politicians don't care about the citizens. They only care about themselves, and they just want votes. Once again, they only want votes.
You went to an event about the violence going on.
Yes.
What do you see as a way of stopping gun violence, or at least reducing the amount of gun violence we see?
One of the things that we can do is implement programs that are aimed to discuss and target the awareness that's affecting communities. Shooting, killing, murdering. To be honest with you, we're not going to be able to change that. But what we can do is eliminate. And that is eliminate the people that are committing the crime, that are harming our citizens. We can get rid of them, get rid of the bad apples. So that's what I would do.
Okay. On economics, what do you see as a way to help the poor and middle class?
For the poor and middle class, economic-wise, we have a system where taxes and you have premiums and all this stuff added in the equation of our taxation formula of how our state does and how our federal does. I believe what we can do economically is invest in more time and awareness for our social programs that can promote low income to go to a better, to live a better quality of life. We can promote that through enforcing programs that can be taught about money saving and how to make money in a good way as a good citizen.
Your thoughts on the war on drugs and how it's affected people in, well, not just in Wisconsin, but in this country?
Okay. Well, let me start by this. Like I said, I'm a I don't know if I said this, but I'm a stepson of a naval engineer, okay? And my real father, he was on heroin. He's always been hooked on heroin since I was a baby, okay? And it caused me, when I went to the doctors, my mom took me to a lot of doctors, I've developed when I was born. I had a neurological tremor disorder from my tremors, and I don't know if it came from that, from his addiction use, but um, my thing that I can tell you about drugs, I do not support drugs. That cocaine, I do not support crystal meth, heroin, any of it. The only thing that I do support, and I don't consider it a drug, is marijuana. Marijuana has been proven to help many citizens that are suffering from stress, stomach issues, anxiety, depression, sexual dysfunction for people, weight problems, stomach problems, uh, medical marijuana. I have used that as a medicinal patient when I lived in Washington State. When my stepdad was stationed there, I've spoken to a lot of medical doctors that have promoted the use of medical marijuana for tremors to help for the nerves and to calm and relax people. So I support medical marijuana and I support the marijuana agenda as long as it's used for a good cause. I do not support uh, any cocaine, any meth, anything that is man-made. I don't support it. It is not good for us. As citizens, it's killing our citizens. We have a lot of addicts, and that's all.
Do you think that we need to explore more rehabilitation for those drug users rather than prison?
Yes, that is my number one policy. As if I'm lieutenant governor, I'm gonna definitely let this be known that I want to have all the addicts rehabilitated, all the drug users. We can put them in programs. Why are we imprisoning them? Instead of imprisoning them and treating them as prisoners, we can be treating them as patients. Why not?
Okay, so here's a question, and this actually pertains to a candidate that you're running against,
Yes.
Mandela Barnes. He voted for the Milwaukee Bucks arena, which cost taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars. What do you think about the fact that the state government gave hundreds of millions of dollars to a private corporation to build a sports arena?
I do not support any politician that supports the corporate agenda. Scott Walker, our governor right now, he has funded Foxconn, and he does not want to invest in local corporations, or not local corporations, but local business people that are here. He don't want to invest in his own people here, the citizens of Wisconsin. He wants to invest with Foxconn. Same thing with Barnes. He wants to invest with corporations. We don't need those kind of politicians. We want politicians that are going to invest in local businesses. And that's what I mean by corporation, local businesses, local owned businesses. That's what I want to support as lieutenant governor.
And what do you think about, in this race, how the candidates have been treated by the media? As a candidate who yourself, who's not an ex-politician, not a multimillionaire,
Right.
it seems like you're getting less coverage. Do you think that the candidates who are ex-politicians or have more money are getting more coverage?
Yes, I do. Yes, most definitely. The progressive movement is casting out liberal Democrats like myself. Um, I joined the Dane County Democrat Party of Wisconsin thinking that it would be Democrats, all Democrats. Well, I learned that, especially for Dane County, is the progressive Democratic movement. And the thing is, I'm not a progressive, I'm a liberal, okay? And I don't have any interest for any corporations, any rich people. Nobody can buy me. Nobody can sell my soul. Nobody can own me. I can't be bought. But what I can tell you is this. I'm doing this for the citizens. I'm doing this for you, the citizens, the people of all colors, all walks of life, regardless of your gender, your religion, your sexuality, equal opportunity for all of you. And that's what I believe. I love all colors. I love everyone.
Your thoughts on education in the state of Wisconsin and the state it's in, and what should maybe be done differently?
Our schools, public schools, are getting less revenue and funding due to the charter school. Now, I, during my last 2 years, due to some issues of me having tremors and a lot of anxiety, I went to a charter school in San Diego, California. Charter school of San Diego, charter school periods, I think they should be available for people with disabilities. And I think that the funding should go for those who are disabled to have access to charter programs. And I believe that regular students should be admitted to public schools, and I think our public schools need the majority of the funding for our education system. Our teachers, are doing a very good job, but they lost a little hope because Governor Scott Walker has stripped them from their union rights. So I believe that our schools will do better when I'm lieutenant governor, and hopefully if I seek more seats down the line, which I will, my goal is to make sure that the teachers and the students, I want them to get the best care and quality education, great funding for meals for their schools. We need to pay so much attention to that because the children are our future, and every day there's a new generation. It's a new line of a shift of a generation. So.
Now, as Lieutenant Governor and the governor's office, they do oversee the state National Guard. So there is some level of interest in our foreign policy.
Yes, and I love foreign policy. By the way, that I'm one to be involved in foreign policy.
What do you think about America being involved in all these different wars overseas and all the money that's
being? That's a very good question.
All the money being spent overseas, and would you like to be spent more here in America?
Yes, yes. I want our money to be spent here for our troops and send our troops back home. We don't need to be fighting all these foreign wars. Now, I do agree, and I have voted for George W. Bush in 2004 as a Democrat because I felt that he was a good military campaign strategist for the war on terror. So I'm the type, I don't go for wealth or anything like that, but if I think you're a good military leader for the time and the action needed to lead us and govern us, I'll vote for you. And so I thought he was good, George W. Bush, for our war on terror, so I supported him. I didn't care for John Kerry. I didn't think that he was strong enough for that war on terrorism that had occurred with Afghanistan and bin Laden. And I believe personally that our war on Afghanistan was necessary due to the obstacles that were brought to our country from these terrorist organizations. Pakistan as well. They were hosting bin Laden, that we found out in the end. He was living in a mansion in Pakistan. Iraq was one of the countries that I didn't support in Syria. I don't see why we have a military presence in Iraq and Syria. I believe that's what kind of threw me off with George W., as well as me supporting him for the war on terror. He went to Iraq, and I think that was based off some beef with him and his dad. And so that's why he was shifted there. He kind of threw me off because bin Laden wasn't in Iraq. Bin Laden was in Afghanistan and Pakistan. And his operatives, his Al-Qaeda and Taliban operatives. I don't like foreign wars. I don't like wars, period. We need to invest in our soldiers, but we need to keep our troops here. Unless we're really threatened, we need to keep our troops here.